stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Hearty good morning to you on this hump day, 420. Nick wanted us to do the show high the whole time, but I said no. We're much more professional than that. We can't do that, so we have to wait till after. But most of you are probably listening that way, so show's way better if you're inebriated in any way. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show on 420. Thanks so much for joining us. We are brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo at Palermo, PA. Check out all that he's got going on his website. If you got any issues with your builder, construction folks, we got a great show for you today. Our good friend Corey Long, who covers the Bolts for NHL.com, will be joining us, and we'll be talking about last night's curious loss to the Red Wings. It's a very odd loss last night. They came out, just absolutely dominated the first period. I was watching the game there with Paul Kennedy and Adam Hall, and the Valley set is right over Vasi's, where Vasi is in the first period, and there was nothing going on down there. It was 16-5 in shots for the Lightning. Just dominated the first period, but didn't get a goal, and then came out in the second and just fell asleep. Gave up 3 goals in 4 minutes. Sergachev giving away the puck like it's candy at Halloween. It's curious to say the least. So we'll get into some Lightning talk with Corey. Also, our good TJ Rives going to join us at 11:15. Jason Licht did his press conference yesterday. His pre-draft misdirection press conference. I don't even know why they do those things, to be quite honest, but they do them. And the most probably interesting things that came out of that were questions about Tom Brady and other things. So we'll get to that as well today. So we got Bucs stuff for you, fresh Bucs sound. We got Lightning, and of course the Rays with a win last night. Raise your hand if you thought they were going to blow that one. Yeah, I was not. I was not encouraged late, but Kittredge came in and slammed the door. He was good last night. Nick Geddes joining us from Outkick.com. What's up, partner? How are you?
I'm doing well. I did, like you, think that they were going to blow that game because the momentum was changing. It looked like there was more people in the crowd last night than when you were there. A little bit of a better night to go.
Much. I heard from some people in the crowd, some of my brethren from the night before, and they were like, yeah, much warmer tonight, less wind, much more enjoyable.
Yeah, and it showed because in that, 8th inning, Ryan Thompson on the mound, I think the crowd was getting to him a little bit. They were loud when he was there.
Yeah. What an atmosphere. I was at the game Monday night, and it was incredible. And I don't know if we mentioned this, but Cubs fans were awesome, but there weren't many of them. To think that these other baseball towns are so hardy and they pack their parks every time. No, they don't. There were Cubs fans said, no, I'm not going to Monday night's game. Only you idiots from Tampa that came up here for this game will go. But there were more there last night. But listen, this is a completely different when Wander Franco is in the lineup. It's night and day. It's complete night and day. And that blast that he got off in the third inning, and of course, the Rays came out quick. The Yandy Diaz doubles. They get a run early on. But it was that blast that hopefully will become, the signature of this team in this lineup. Because what an unbelievable hitting display again last night by Wander Franco.
There he goes. The pitch swung on. Drive hit high and deep to left center. That he is gone.
He picked that one a little bit
for Franco.
As well he should. Beautiful. Middle in, ba-boom.
The sound off of that bat.
420 feet.
Yes.
The left center. He knew it was gone. Pimped it a little bit.
Great call from Dwayne Stats as well.
He was all over that.
I had the Lightning game on. I was driving when this was happening.
Okay.
I was pulled away from my house. I had the Lightning game on the radio, and I'm watching the Rays in the passenger seat on my phone. And almost simultaneously.
While you're driving. Okay.
No, I wasn't driving.
Oh, okay. Good.
Almost simultaneously, I hear Michigan go, score! And then I hear that.
Yeah.
It happened simultaneously that Kucherov
was it
scored.
Dave or Andy? Swing and a drive.
Oh, man. No, I was on Bally.
Oh,
I was on
Bally.
Bally. So I had Dwayne and I had Michigan both at the same time. It was Cooch just scored and Franco did as well.
Right.
And I was like, that's great.
That's good.
That's just great.
That was nice. A little double dip right there. Yeah, and Wander had 3 hits, and I thought Orestes made a great point last night when they were going through he had another 3-hit game. That's he's tied for the lead with, I think, 4 3-hit games this year, tied for the league in the major leagues, leads the major leagues with 7, or American League with 7 multi-hit games. His bat on ball skills, eye-hand coordination are just insane. And like you said, from the right side, he pulls one 420, then turns around from the left side after taking a nasty inside pitch, goes with a ball tailing away, fastball, rips it over the head of the fielder for trouble.
And I was more impressed by the one that fouled the pitch before.
Yes.
I think Brian Anderson pointed it out.
Yeah.
I was like, that pitch was like 95 in on the hands.
Yeah.
And he somehow was able to turn on it and get the barrel to it and still hit it pretty far down the right field line foul.
Yeah.
Everything he hits is on the barrel.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He is a special player. I think Orestes said he's hitting like 500 right now, righty, and 350 lefty. And he's already like one of the top 10, probably maybe top 5 right-handed hitters in the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
exit velocity among the best.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just,
and through 81 games, I think I just saw last night, they put the graphic up, 100 hits for Wander Franco in his first 81 games. Only Rocco Baldelli had more, 101. So this is a special player.
He's good. This just in, Wander Franco is pretty damn good, and he set the table for a 6-5 win. Bilal had an RBI last night. Taylor Walls kind of pumped back a little bit, 2 hits and a couple of really good plays, a game-saving play in right field in the 7th inning with 2 out, 2 on. That was another big play. He's got some skills. Taylor Walls has got some skills. I don't know if he's ever going to be a true impact player. I don't think he's consistent enough, but he's got skills. I mean, he can hit from both sides of the plate. And I think he's had a bad start defensively with 3 errors, I think, but he's better than that. We know that. So I still like him. I mean, I'm a little biased. He's an old, but I still like him. Pitching last night, they opened with Whistler, who was good. Fleming was not good. Is Patrick, what the hell's his name?
Patrick Wisdom.
Very interesting name. Another home run from this kid. What's up with that? Is he just feasting on Rays? That guy's got legit power.
I think he was a rookie last year and he hit like 28 home runs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got some pop in that bat.
Yeah, he does. I mean, that the budding superstar there. But all in all, it's a win last night. I think they were a little the bullpen was not as good as we would hope. Kittredge came in. He was fantastic. And a good win. So they start now. They had lost 5 of 6, so they're now 6-6. Just having Wander in the lineup makes a big difference. But again, if I have to sit here and say what's my take on this team, I'll just defer to what we said yesterday. I think this is the 500 team, maybe a little better than that right now. I mean, obviously they can get better, but they've got to get pitchers back. They've got to get a little bit more consistent pop in this lineup. I think obviously Josh Lowe will get more settled in. We need him to be productive. Rosarena's starting to swing the bat a little bit and make contact because she's always swinging the bat. So I don't know. Obviously, get a win like that, you feel a little bit better. And they're back at it. Is it a day game today? No,
I still think it's a night. It's another night. With
my son's going to this game tonight.
Really?
Yeah. Being in the bleacher bump tonight with his girlfriend and some friends.
How much?
$9. $9 for a outfield seat at Wrigley Field. That same seat will cost you $35 with fees at the Trop. By the way, did you see the letter that was put out? There's a minority group led by Dave Stewart, who is in Nashville, the Nashville Baseball Incorporated, and they're squarely fixed on getting an expansion team, and everybody's kind of freaked out. Oh, good, it's going to be an expansion team. How long have we been telling you this? How long? It's always going to be an expansion team. Yeah, sure, they would like the Rays, but they're not going to get the Rays. The MLB is not leaving this market. This stadium deal is going to get done. It's moving closer and closer and closer. I mentioned this, I think, on Monday. The Rays have been doing a lot of research and work on innovative roofs for this stadium. They're trying to figure out how to get a roof on this thing or some type of covering, some type of shade. A retractable roof is really not cost efficient at all. So that's kind of off the table. But that right now, I think, is the holdup. And once they get a kind of a feel for what they can do and how they can do it, I think it's going to move forward. I think you're going to see the financial package move forward. And I really believe this. I think the Rays are being pressured by Major League Baseball to get this deal done in Tampa so they can move with these expansion teams that like Nashville and other places that want expansion clubs. And with the average worth of a baseball team being north of $1.7 billion, I'm expecting the expansion fee to be somewhere around $2 billion. So that's money that these owners want to make up from COVID. And I expect them to try and push and get these deals done. I'm not exactly sure. I hear so much on Oakland. It goes back and forth on what the deal is out there. But I think here locally, even though Sternberg said they're still considering St. Pete, they're doing all their in the back panels. They're doing all their due diligence on Ybor City, and that's where their focus is. So,
I speaking of Oakland, real quick, I caught this, and here's the number. How many people do you think showed up for Orioles and Athletics last night in Oakland?
Wow, I'm not sure why anyone would show up for that. I'm going to go 6,000.
3,748. I don't think I've ever heard a lower attended MLB game.
That's low.
That is like the lowest. I think that has to be the lowest I've ever seen. And that's a big stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's got to just feel absolutely cavernously empty.
Yeah. It ended up being a 2-1 game as well. On top of it.
What's the A's record now? Like
A's
7-5, I think.
The A's are 7-5. Yes.
7-5. Yeah. There's a reason for that. Again, their reasons are very similar. Crappy stadium, ownership that they don't really believe in. A lot of the A's fans think they're going to leave. There's another team that's been very successful on a budget, but has stadium issues. This is not, again, it's not rocket science. Build an iconic stadium or one with at least modern day amenities that's not, wasn't designed in 1981 and in the worst location in the market like we have here. And you might have a chance of getting better attendance. So I think at least in our case, things are moving in the right direction, and that's good. And I think you'll probably see baseball expanding within the next year to get those two expansion teams. I'm thinking Nashville, I think, is a definite. I don't think there's any question that Nashville's going to get one. The other markets, I don't think Vegas is a player, to be honest with you. I think they got too many sports to support right now anyway. By the way, you think it's hot here in the summer? And I know they would obviously have an indoor field in Vegas, but I just don't think I think there's too much going on in Vegas right now for them to do 81 home baseball games. I don't necessarily think it would work the same as hockey. I think Vegas would be a perfect place for an NBA expansion. That seems like a much better fit out there. All right, let's hear from Kevin Cash after yesterday's big win over the Cubs.
Was it nice to see the offense get back on track and look more like themselves today?
Yeah, it was. Certainly. It's tough to hit in cold weather. We've acknowledged that. We've kind of proven that here over the last couple of days. But it was good to get the bats going. Wander comes up big for us. He's been just playing really, really well all season long, both sides of the ball. Nice to have him back in the lineup, and the rest of the guys, followed suit. Looked like Randy. He tried to accomplish something last night, didn't work out in his favor, and then comes up with another opportunity, rifles down the line for a big double.
And it got tight down there at the end with the bullpen, and Andrew Kittredge, though, able to come in and shut the door. Just what did you see that was impressive of him?
Just that he's so good and he's so valuable to what we're doing. And, he can throw 1 inning, 2 innings, wrap around. He'll pitch in any role. And we needed him right then. We were the way it stacked up in that moment in the game to pull Flem, we knew it was going to be pretty tight going inning to inning. And, it landed Kit where we needed 2 innings from him, and he couldn't have been more efficient.
Another guy that stood out offensively, Taylor Walls, just that stand-up triple there and just showing off his speed. I mean, how nice was that to see from him today? Yeah,
Wallsy had a big day on the field, too. Made a nice play with Happ there off of Thompson, I believe, to end the threat. But like to see, any of these guys getting going, getting the reps going, getting some consistency, and Wallsy's going to do good things for us at the plate.
We're going to get lots of questions over the years about things Wander does that impress you, but talks his way kind of back into the lineup. You guys clear him to play. You tell him not to run hard, so he just hits the homer instead.
Yeah, I mean, he hit the ground ball first, and we were all screaming from the dugout. He pulled up a little later than I would have liked, but yeah, there's no doubt he's a really good player that's playing really, really well right now for us, and glad that we avoided. I thought it was smart giving him the day, and we'll just keep plugging him in there.
He's like a guy who we're coming to see likes the big moment, likes to get the big hit.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that way. I felt that way last year with the way he performed. So kind of come to expect that he's up for those moments, and he does find a way. I mean, he's locked in extremely hot. He's barreling fastballs, pulling them, staying on breaking balls. I mean, you just don't see him fooled very often.
Went through the 2 replays on Randy, the one at first and the one at home.
The one at first.
The double play overturned ahead of Wander's home run.
Yeah.
Randall's call.
Yeah. Good for Randall. He's been doing well. That is high anxiety in the way MLB has made it. 20 seconds, a hard 20 seconds. You got to have some pretty good computer skills to go through the camera and stuff, but he's doing a good job, and no doubt at the play at home, definitely challenge that play. I mean, I don't know if they could sync up angles or whatever, but I'm glad we challenged that.
Right. Were you trying to get Randy for the tag, or that the catcher was blocking his lane?
But ultimately safe. But if we're going to have a play at the plate, we're going to go ahead and check all of it.
One more thing on Wander. I mean, to pull the home run right-handed, turn right back around and smash that double left-handed, I mean, just how unique and kind of special, I guess, is that?
Very. I mean, those are 2 good ways to describe him. He's 21. He's unique, special, talented, and, we're seeing it in every part of his game.
You mentioned wanting to cut down the swing and miss, only 6 strikeouts tonight. You had some big balls in play. Just good to see overall from the offense.
Yeah, I mean, put some pressure on the defense. We're going to run into strikeouts. That's fine. Most teams do. But ideally, when guys are getting on base ahead of you, you want to do whatever you can to move the baseball and put some pressure on the defense.
How much did you enjoy it? A nice, good confidence building game from Taylor Walls today.
Good game. Taylor's got plenty of confidence, but there's no doubt he's a very confident kid, whether the ball's hit to him or he's at the plate. So just happy to see him have a big hit and impact us in a big way.
A lot there from Kevin Cash. I think some reiteration of Taylor Walsh is it's good to see him hitting the baseball, and if this team's going to do anything, they need him to be somewhat productive at the plate and very, very productive in the field.
Yeah, and I thought all around yesterday the defense was much better.
Yeah.
He made a nice play there on a hard hit ball to be able to stop it. I think it was in that inning to bail out Ryan Thompson there when it was 6-5. And even Harold Ramirez, I thought there was one play, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been a throw from Yandy or from short, and it kind of went a little wide, and he stretched it and was able to complete it. So much better outing for Harold Ramirez if we're gonna play him at first base. By all means. It was an all around great effort. The bullpen scared me, but I think Ryan Thompson, I have more confidence in him than most in the bullpen. So I'm not overly concerned about that.
I feel like we're two arms short in the bullpen right now. Kittredge is gonna get. He was really good last night. He was awesome in really good positions. I love his demeanor on the mound. He has a complete I don't give a shit. The way he throws the ball, he's just like, here it goes, and it just explodes. He's talented. He's really, really talented. All right, let's switch over to the Lightning, and we'll get to all the Bucs sound a little bit later on. Some interesting stuff there. I'm at the game last night and was talking to Bradley. Brad's like, man, I think we're going to score 7 or 8 tonight. I just think we're going to roll it up on them. And we should have scored 8 on the Red Wings last night. No doubt about it. Grice was good last night. I thought he was really, really good. Sustained pressure in the first. They had 16 or 15 shots in the first. They should have had probably a 2 or 3-0 lead. But they go to the break scoreless, and then they come out. And one of I think the prettiest goals I've seen in a while, Palat to a skating Stamkos, who then makes a great move, a little burst too. He still got speed. Stammer still got a little bit of speed. And then just a beautiful pass to a trailing Ross Colton. Check this one out.
Now up the middle. Stamkos dishes off. They score! Ross Colton on a great feed from Stamkos. And Tampa Bay's on the board. 1-0.
What a brilliant goal. You think Steven Stamkos is just a goal scorer? Beautiful pass up the middle. And how about that one touch by Palat? And then when two players go to Stamkos and Grice, because Grice has to make a save, surely Stamkos is going to shoot this puck once he gets it on the forehand. Nope. What a beautiful play backwards to Ross Colton coming late on the play, and he just has to hit the 4x6. What a brilliant play by Stamkos, but all the way along. Great pass.
Yeah, Palat with a great pass and right on the stick, and then Stamkos splits the defenders right down the middle, cuts to his right, and then just drops a perfect pass to Ross Colton, who, by the way, now has 7 goals in his last 12. Stammer goes on to get 3 points last night and tie Marty St. Louis for the all-time points lead for the Lightning. Quite a night for the captain last night. Really, really good.
Yeah, he was awesome. And on that play, when I first saw it, I think I yelled at my TV for like a second. Like, why are you passing that? Because like Colton was like, you don't usually see plays like that.
He wasn't
like,
even in
Colton
the frame.
Wasn't even parallel to him in the frame. He was kind of back a little bit. He's kind of passing it like around where the defender was. I was like, why are you passing that puck?
Yeah.
But it worked out. It was a pretty play. I thought the little touch pass by Palat
very nice
was what made it. And Stamkos, like you said, 3 assists. I think it's the 11th time he's done that in his career last night, and now tied with Marty. And by my estimation, the greatest player that this franchise has ever had.
Yeah, Marty. Yeah,
no,
Stamkos.
Yes,
Marty.
Stamkos.
Well, Marty, with his, he's obviously in the Hall of Fame, and but every record that Marty set is going to be broken by Stammer.
By him.
Yeah, and then will then subsequently be broken by Kucherov, who is now at 600 points, or maybe one shy of 600 points, and doing it faster than Stammer did by about 50 games. So, you're witnessing the era of what I think is no question for Hall of Famers. I think Stamkos, Hedman, Kucherov, and Vasi are all going to the Hall of Fame.
In 20 years, if you're still around here and you're still doing your Lightning gig,
yes,
maybe you'll be sitting.
Hey, Boat Nation.
Maybe you'll be.
Sorry, Denter's got a little loose there. Yeah,
maybe you'll be sitting in on a few jerseys going to the Raptors.
Yeah,
Just
I
maybe.
think we'll definitely, hopefully, I will see those ones go to the Raptors. But yeah, and it's one of those things we probably don't say it enough. Enjoy it, enjoy the moment, enjoy what's going on here, because this is history in the making. We're in the midst of these guys in their prime. One of the greatest teams in the history of the NHL. It will be proven out historically as we go down the line. And right now, you might throw Corey Perry in there. I don't know where his legacy will lead, but obviously his numbers are enormous. But it's so enjoyable to watch. But the downside, tough game for Sergachev last night. And by the way, I'm looking through the stats. He was a -3 last night.
Mm-hmm.
Kucherov was a -2. And then in the giveaways column, if I'm reading this correctly, no giveaways for Sergachev. How does that work?
How do we factor giveaways? Are we calling that a takeaway?
If those weren't giveaways, I don't know what were.
Are they called takeaways for Detroit?
I'm not exactly sure how you do that, but the next goal by Sundqvist, Sergei, and it's not a giveaway, obviously, but he allows Sundqvist to get position in front of the net, and that allows the first goal as Detroit comes back with 4 goals in the second, take a 3-1 lead. Jacob Vrana with a kind of got lost in the shovel, but another chance for the Lightning to clear and get control of the puck. They don't do it. Vrana with a wrister makes it 2-1, and then at the blue line, the most egregious of the turnovers, Sergachev tries to make this cute ass little move at the blue line. It gets poked away, and Raymond goes down and goes 5-hole on Vasi to make it 3-1. Cooper calls timeout and tries to right the ship, and that was a good call by him.
I thought we were getting a Vasi pull again.
Did you?
I thought we were getting another one. As I was listening to it on the radio at the time, and again, it was the same scenario as the Anaheim game.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what Dave Michigan said. It was like just the same thing exactly a week ago here, where the Bolts just fall apart in the second period and give up 3 bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
and frankly,
look, I don't want to blame Vasi for all of it, but
I was just getting to that. There was at least 2 of those goals. Vasi's got to stop them. The one that went through the 5-hole, there on the side, there's nothing there.
Yeah,
like you got to close the 5-hole, and if Vasilevskiy's on, he's making that save 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, one went 5-hole, one went through him.
And
you know, on the short side, yeah, you got to have those.
And even the first one, I know it was a bit of a scramble in front, and Sundqvist found it, but the initial shot from the point was a little flutter of a shot in, and Vasilevskiy went to go control the rebound to just try to, just scramble it, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And how many times? And that allowed the play to keep going,
True.
and it came right back up to the point. And those are plays that he's just not making right now in net.
Well, the good news is the Lightning came back, and they get a power play goal from Kucherov, and this is just a brilliant. If you saw the replay on this one, do we have this one?
Yes.
Yeah. If you saw the replay on this one, it's a no look shot, and it's pretty good. Here it is.
Kucherov in, shoots, scores! Mikhail Kucherov makes it 3-2.
Kuch has been in the zone, boys, the last 3 or 4 games for me. Yeah, I know he's had points in 20 of the last 29 games since his last injury. But for me,
Watch this angle right here as we're watching it.
Just got that thing going.
He's looking away for a pass. Kaloran comes in
reads
front.
the puck. It has to stay in front of the puck. But they also read players' eyes. Where's Kucherov looking? He's looking in the middle. That slow-mo, the first shot, really showed you. And then he pulls the trigger so quickly, Grice didn't.
Yeah, that's a great piece of skill right there. He just sees a little hole. He can see the slightest little hole in opening and just put it right there. His shot is just so devastating. He had 4 shots last night. Probably, I say this every time. I would like to see him with 8 shots every night.
Yeah, I think Phil said that yesterday on the telecast right after it went in. He's like, why doesn't he do that more often?
Yeah,
just shoot it.
Just
shoot the puck. He's like, all these other teams come in and just shoot, and it's going in the back of the Lightning's net. Just shoot it.
And it's like Steph Curry. It would be like Steph Curry taking 5 3-pointers a game.
Yeah,
you got the best shot in the game, dude. Rip it.
Yeah,
rip it.
And that's one of my faults I had with the end of the game. That 6-on-5 that the Lightning had, which again, we're back in those situations. I think 4 times in a row, I watched Kucherov, Hedman, whatever, all go to Stamkos. Did you not notice that?
Yeah.
4 times in a row. He didn't hit the net once. He got blocked once, and he missed 3 times. And I'm yelling at the TV, why are we going back over there? You did it 4 times in a span of 20 seconds.
I don't
Somebody
know.
else has got to get a different angle.
I don't know if this comes into play, but I'm just going to throw it out there. That would have been the record breaker. He already had 3 points. He'd already tied Marty. Do they think of these things? Because if they are, they shouldn't be. That's not part of it. It'll come organically. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think they are.
But
that was odd. But that was
odd, right?
Yeah.
Because Stamkos, it's not even like he was kind of creeping towards the net.
Right.
He was pretty far out.
Yeah.
He was almost near the blue line. He's taking rips over there where everybody's looking at him. You're not fooling anybody. And I'm just like, can somebody just throw one in the net? You got 6 guys. You got 2 big bodies in front. Let's just
given that situation
different.
And the fact that it was odd to you and odd to me, I'm like, were they really doing that? Are they that like
selfish goals, like Mr. Kershaw said?
I don't, but that's other players trying to get it for him. So
yeah, I get it, and there's a time and place for that.
It's gonna come. I mean, you don't have to force it, for God's sakes.
There's a time and place when you're a team that's
we're speculating, of course.
Yeah, but when you're a team that needs some confidence and some wins, just do something different.
So we'll play one more, and then we'll get Corey Long's going to join us. We'll talk some more Lightning and some college football with him. We're going to talk about that topic of NIL free agency that's going on. But before we do that, here's Colton's second goal. Another spectacular pass from Steven Stamkos.
In front, Colton scores! Ross Colton with his second of the game. On the setup from Steven Stamkos, who is now tied Martin St. Louis for the all-time franchise scoring lead.
Talking about it early in the game, when you put a number like that in front of a great player like Steven Stamkos, he can be all over it, and he has been in this game. Another terrific pass to Ross Colton. Colton finding ways to get open, and he is finishing it. He's worked a lot on his one-time shots all around the net with Jeff Halpern all this season. Morning skates, he stays out longer than anybody else, and it pays off as Stammer goes behind the net. Easy to make a play around the boards to one of your offensive players. Stammer knows that, gets there in advance, puts it right out on the tape to Ross Colton. and Colton makes it pay, so now they're back in business.
So that made it 3-3, and then Sergachev gives up a easy play at the blue. Was that the game winner? Verona breakaway when Sergachev just gives it away at the blue line and goes down there and beats Vasi 5-hole for what ended up to be the game winner. And Cooper was minced no words last night. We'll play that later, but basically minced no words last night and said, look, we got guys 76 games in that are still making the same mistakes, these silly giveaways. He didn't mention Sergachev by name, but I don't think he needed to.
No.
Sergey's got to be better. That's all there is to it. You just can't take those chances. And if you're going to do that, in the playoffs, he's not going to play. I can tell you that. I don't think Cooper will bat one eye about sitting him down.
I think he needs to sit before we get there, to be honest. And the message now.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird that he just keeps doing it and just silly, risky plays that you don't need to make.
It's beyond the giveaway. I thought the one where Raymond scored on the right when they were coming into the zone, that right shin shot, he gives it away.
And then doesn't even go after.
He didn't even go after.
Yeah.
That discouraged me more.
And so loose on the puck.
Yeah. It's just very nonchalant.
Yeah.
We have this discussion at some point. You either are who you are at this point in the league, or you're going to take a step forward as a defenseman this many games in.
It's true. All right, quick break. When we come back, Corey Long's going to join us from NHL.com. Also covers college football for Walter Football. So we'll chat about some of the topics in college football with NIL free agency going on, and of course the Bowl. Stay with us. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher. Is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any issues with stucco work that has cracks in it, especially in the upper part of your home, we have a big problem with that here in Florida, especially in the Tampa Bay area. There's been a lot of lawsuits concerning that. So if you're one of those that has some cracks and maybe your builder said, that's natural settling or whatever, don't believe it. Get in touch with Christopher Palermo. He'll take care of you. He'll get it inspected, see if you have a problem, number one, see if you have some hidden damage, and then he will take care of it because your homeowner's insurance company probably is not going to want to pay for it. So you got to have a lawyer representing you who knows what he's doing. That's Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at PalermoPA.com. That's PalermoPA.com. Great dude. Give him a call. All right, here's another great dude, the great Corey Long, who covers the Lightning for NHL.com. I heard him grilling Cooper last night after the game. What's up, my man? How are you, Corey?
Oh, not much. Nothing that a loss to the Red Wings won't cure, I guess. My God.
Yeah, that was expected, especially after the first period where they just dominated.
Well, you finally get the goal, and it was 24 minutes of hard work, and you give it back on the next shift, and that's been a problem with this team is that they it's clear that when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're still as good as anybody, but they lose focus at the snap of a finger. I mean, and now I think what concerns me is that they don't pick up that focus back after one mistake. They will let mistakes compound themselves and get to a spot where they were like last night, where they were basically chasing the game for the final, for the better part of the final 40 minutes. 98 had a rough game. I mean, he's way too loose with the puck right now. And that's just,
what's up with that?
Not, I don't know. Sometimes I think that he's just, we forget he's only 24. He's been with the team for so long now. He's still a really young guy. Yeah. But I think sometimes he gets maybe a little bit too much into wanting to be in the playmaking mode. The first turnover they were trying to clear the puck. I don't know what the heck he was doing. He just whiffed on whatever he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And the second one, when you're faking shots and you're trying to break a guy down one-on-one, there's nobody behind you. So you have to, be careful with how you do it. And, he just wasn't very careful. It's ironic because Helene St. James, who covers the Red Wings, was there last night. I think she covered it for the Detroit, I forget what Detroit paper it is. But I asked her, I said, when was the last time you were in this building for a Red Wings win over the Lightning? And because they weren't there last year, because last year when it was COVID, so no one was traveling. And she said it was Game 5 of the 2015 playoff series.
Wow, that's a long.
That was the last time that she was present for the Red Wings. It was a 4-0 win.
Wow.
Peter Mrazek had the shutout that put the Wings up 3-2 in that series.
That was a long time ago. Not only that, Vasilevskiy was a perfect 13-0 against the Red Wings. So that
no one goes 14-0 against the Detroit Red Wings. Apparently. So.
They're going to draw the line in the sand at 13. Absolutely, we're not taking it anymore. Though, so many of these mistakes and things are just mistakes of what I would call lack of intensity and lack of focus. Now, you would hope that as we get into the playoffs and games like tomorrow night that are going to be ratcheted up with Toronto, that stuff doesn't happen. That this team is to the point now where they know when it's crunch time, they just play a different way. It's the old flip the switch thing that we've seen for years and years here. So you don't panic going into the playoffs, obviously.
I don't think there's a panic. Like I always say about flipping the switch, it's fine until the power gets shut off. And as long as the power is still on, flipping the switch is fine. What we're at this point is we're they're 2 cups in. You go from trying to at a certain point, your overall game as a team and as an organization, you go from chasing to survival.
Yeah.
And they're kind of at that fringe spot now where everybody's targeting you. So you're just trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, obviously you're chasing. The second one, you're still kind of in that chasing mode. But now, you're not. Everybody's looking at you. You are everybody's number one target. Yeah. So you go into survival mode, and and they have to learn how to survive now. It's like it's as much pressure as they had when they were trying to chase the cups. It's just as much pressure just trying to survived getting, taking everybody's best punch every night and taking it for 82 games. You don't get games off when you're the champions.
Right, and that whole dynamic changes in the playoffs, because then it's just like, there are no real favorites in terms of, especially this year with this group of 8. The group of 8 in the East is just as good as I've ever seen it top to bottom, and anybody can beat anybody. You might as well just throw out the seedings. It's just that way. But I am still interested to see this game tomorrow night, because you say, as long as the power's on, and to me that's defined by as long as we have the talent, the ability, the speed to compete with everybody else. And somebody mentioned this to me the other day and said, I've never seen, a longtime Lightning fan said, I've never seen a slower Lightning team. And I kind of thought about that, because you lose a Yanni Gord, you lose some Matthew Joseph and some others, and you're like, what? We may not be as fast as we ever were, but I still think this team is as talented as any in the league. Would you agree with that?
No, yeah, I think the talent's still there. I think they're fine. I think even in the process of a loss, you're seeing some things. I think they might have something with this Stamkos-Colton pairing. I think, seems like there's something there. Yeah. Nicholas Paul, I think, has been a great revelation. Just he can play on any one of the lines. He's a tough guy. He doesn't get moved off the puck. I think you're really going to see him shine in the playoffs. Like, I feel like his game is really going to shine in the playoffs. And, defensively, I'm still fine with this team. I know that at the end of the day, Hedman and McDonough are going to be taking a lot more. They're going to be playing 25 plus minutes a game. Sergachev, I think he's still. I think games like last night do make him refocus a little bit more.
Yeah.
When he has a bad game, he does tend to get a little bit more on himself and realize that he can't screw up like that.
Yeah. Let me throw this. Let me throw this ridiculous theory out there about Sergachev. He's playing obviously on a team with what I believe is the best defenseman in the game in Victor Hedman. And obviously Victor's having a tremendous offensive season. I think he's 1 point shy of his career high and the franchise high as well.
No, he hit his career high last night.
Yeah. So that's right. He got it last night.
High. Yeah.
So is it almost like, and Sergachev has always been in Russian hockey circles considered one of the next great defensemen, right? And he's always been overshadowed by Hedman. Do you think there's a sense that he's trying to be Victor Hedman, and with all due respect, he's just not going to be that guy? Is that something that could be part of what's going wrong here? Too many chances.
I do think at times he, at least if nothing else, like to let it known that he is a number one caliber defenseman, and on a lot of teams he would be at least at worst a number 2 caliber defenseman.
Right.
And here he's behind Hedman and McDonough. So yeah, at times I think maybe there's, that's with his youth still, and that's, obviously still, I do think at some point he wants to be the guy, and he's not there yet. And, maybe he feels like being, paired with on the third line with like Bogosian. He's not really going to have that opportunity, but I look at it from another standpoint of that, they're certainly paying him a lot better than most number 3 defensemen get paid on teams. So they clearly value him. So it's, I'm going to chalk up last night as really just a bad night for him. We'll see how he does on Thursday.
Corey Long joining us here, covers the Bolts for NHL.com. And I don't think it's any secret that when Cooper said last night very pointedly, it might have been to your question, that there are just some guys on this team that just aren't getting it. We can't play that way. We can't just give the puck away. I think he was pretty much talking about Sergachev. Was he not?
Yeah, he was speaking in 98. Yeah, absolutely. He was 100% speaking in 98.
Right. Just making sure.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Colton and Stamkos, and this is something I'd said about a month ago, that I still thought that this team's best hockey was in front of them as they kind of work Hagel and Paul in and get all these lines kind of situated. And I think we're seeing that. I think the power play's getting a little bit better, even had a little bit of a lull. It's too talented to be middle of the pack in this league, and they're going to need it, for the playoffs. So I do think that I still think the best hockey is ahead of them in the playoffs. I think they have another level to go. Would you agree?
Yeah, and you're encouraged by, flipping switches. You're definitely encouraged by the offensive game that 86 is throwing out there. You can tell he's ready. He's ready for the real season to begin. You feel it with him.
Yeah.
Like he had a 4-point night against Anaheim. He says a big goal last night, 7 seconds into a power play, and that's the Kucherov that we expect to see as the games get important. He's going to take over the puck. He's going to demand that things get he's going to demand the puck and demand to make plays more. That's what he does this time of year. So that's very encouraging.
All right, let's transition over to before we leave the Lightning, tomorrow night's game. Do you see this kind of as I want to see the Lightning play against the playoff team and beat them, and I'd like to see it be somewhat decisively. I'd like to see them flip the switch tomorrow and do something to Toronto. Because what are they 1-10 against playoff teams in their last 11 or some ridiculous stat like that? It's not good.
Something like that.
Yeah, so how important is
Carolina? I think is the only victory that Carolina win in overtime.
So how important is it to come out and play well tomorrow and show that they belong at this level?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just important to put up a better game than they did last time.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
I mean, they go in there, they play a great game, they lose 2-1 in overtime.
Yeah.
It was things can happen. You lose in an overtime, you lose in a shootout, that can happen. But I don't, you don't want to see them just giving up Broadway to guys like Marner, and if Austin Matthews plays, I'm not sure if he's going to play or not, but or any of those guys, Nylander, any of those guys, because they're gonna make you look bad.
Yeah.
And we're all we still all joke like, hey, you get Toronto in the first round. I'm like, they're gonna win one of those first round matchups sometime. They're eventually gonna break through. I feel like they have to.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to be that team that gives it up. So.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for them to have play a better game against Toronto and go a little more confidence against.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Austin Matthews play for that reason, so they can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. To transition, I want to talk to you about this Marius Mims, who had a dalliance with Florida State, another 5-star that went down there. I mean, all the reports were that he was gonna transfer to FSU. He goes down there and visits, and then goes back to Georgia. And many speculate this was simply a ploy to get more NIL money. I don't know any of the inner workings of that. It certainly looks that way from the outside. And this might be the first of many, 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 many players that do this each and every year because they can. They can enter the transfer portal and then just go visit wherever they want. And whoever wants to offer them the highest NIL or get more out of the Georgia. Is this the future of college football? Is this what we brought?
I don't think there was any disingenuous actions in terms of he liked Florida State. He liked Alex Atkins. He really did. The family, they're a pretty tight knit family, kind of old country family. He wasn't, I don't know that he wasn't, here's the thing. I think people were thinking Mims wasn't happy at Georgia. That wasn't the case. He wanted to start. Right. It wasn't that he wasn't happy at Georgia. He wanted to start.
And at tackle, probably.
Yeah, probably started tackle. And, you started hearing, okay, well, FSU was in it, which you expected. They were very, they did a very good job of recruiting him the first time. Miami was in it. Apparently, Cristobal had talked with them. Oregon, they'd had a little bit. He was also looking at like Ohio State. And I remember saying, well, if things are all equal, go to Ohio State. That's probably the best place for you to get developed.
Right.
Where you're still going to play for high, championship. Maybe you'll play for championship.
Yeah.
But I think they were only interested in leaving Georgia for Florida State because of that relationship, the proximity from his house, the fact that he's a small town kid. Tallahassee is not Miami. It's not going to overwhelm you. And I do think that there was genuine interest. And because I do think his relationship with Alex Atkins is strong. And I don't think he just string along Atkins. Now, I know they had to cut their visit short. There was one of his friends had passed away in a car accident, if I'm not mistaken, on that Friday. Like one of his little teammates died in like a car accident of some sort. So he went back home and, you lose a high school friend, it's going to hit you hard. I don't think at the end of the day that had anything to do with it. I think there was legitimate, am I going to go here? Am I going to go here? And here's the funny thing. He did what we, in essence, want kids to do, which is go back and fight it out. Yeah. That's what we want all the players to do, technically, right?
Yeah.
We want to go back and battle and compete.
Exactly.
And that's what he did.
Just run.
I don't know what he got from Georgia. Nobody knows it. I know that FSU had offered him a good NIL deal, a very competitive deal. I think he would have been perfectly happy with it. Georgia offered him more or offered him less, but whatever, at the end of the day, he decided to go back and, I can't blame him for wanting to go back to Georgia. I think at a certain point, if you're really thinking about this with the thought process, does he want to, I think one of the questions is, do you want to play for a championship? You're probably not going to do it at Florida State in the next 2 years.
Nope.
You definitely might. You have a very good, even with Stetson Bennett, they want a title with Stetson Bennett as their quarterback, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how good a team has to be to win a title with Stetson Bennett as a quarterback?
Yeah. Pretty damn good.
You know what I'm saying?
So
FSU in 1998 was monsters, and even they couldn't win with Marcus Outzen.
It was close.
It was very close, but even Marcus, there was just too much Marcus Outzen for them to overcome.
I ran into the Rooster the other day. He's
Rooster's a good guy.
He's a big fan of the show. Big fan of the show. I got to get him on. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The Rooster's a good guy. I don't want to knock him, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't, here's one of these things, and I normally come down hard. I don't really come down hard on Florida State on this one. I thought they did everything that they could do other than letting him leave campus without assurance.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked by this because I thought you were, my friend Nick over here was ripping FSU the other day that they just can't close. They just can't close. Look at what happened.
They can't close. I'm not. let's not say they can. They can't close.
Yeah, clearly.
But I thought they played this one outside of letting him leave campus without assurance.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get Jerry Maguire. Don't let Bob Sugar come in and take it from you again. I thought they did everything as well as they could do. That being said, didn't get the job done again.
Right.
Still got to put out 5 offensive linemen. They still got to do what they got to do, but I don't know, JP. You guys love Mike Norvell. He's Teflon Don. He can do no wrong. I get it. So
I don't know.
I'm not gonna get into this with you because the guy can do no wrong with you guys. And I get, because here's the thing: they had a guy going to transfer portal named Kobe Gross, who is a kind of a running gag. He was a kid that they brought in. It was a COVID class kid, and it was a West Coast JUCO tight end. Never had taken a rep in JUCO. They never saw him. They gave him a scholarship.
What?
Yes, Kobe Gross has no JUCO reps. He never took a rep in junior college. They took a West Coast tight JUCO kid, no reps, sight unseen because it was COVID. They couldn't see the kid. Gave him the scholarship.
Did he have a high school? Was he high school vetted? Did he have a career in high school?
He was. I guess he was. I mean, yeah, he had some high school film, but he went to El Diablo College. Like, the devil. They only were bringing him in as a blocking tight end. It's like between Tallahassee, you can't find a blocking tight end between Tallahassee and El Diablo College out in San Ramon, California.
There's got to be one in Wakulla or Bluntstown or somewhere, for God's sakes.
There's got to be one. You can find one in Mayo. You can find a big kid that can come in here and knock somebody in their butt. I lived in Polk County for 20 years. Just call me.
They're running all over Polk County.
Farm kid from Polk.
Call Bill Castle. He's got 20 of them. Right. I know. All right. We're still a work in progress. But listen, I'm not saying that Norvell is the Teflon. I'm saying I'm still in wait and see mode. I think what he's done is good. It's not great, obviously. So, but we've got to give the guy a little bit of time, given the COVID situation. So,
stop!
So everybody
stop. He's on year 3. They've let him hire like 1,000 coaches. Well, he has a GM of the program. He has a chief of staff of the program, which apparently does something different than the GM. He's got Jason Garrett's brother doing something. Why not use some of that money and hire somebody that can recruit?
That'd be a good idea.
Where are the kids at the end of this rainbow?
Yeah.
Like, where are the kids that look like men? When I saw the spring game and I saw like the Benson kid that they got from Oregon, and I saw Sarah McCall, who went to my alma mater, Lake Gibson High School, represent. I looked at those kids, and you know what I said? Those are kids that Jimbo would recruit.
Right.
I need more of those kids. Like, I don't need the kids we got to develop them over 3 years. Bring me the kids that can come in and play.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of them around here, and many of them want to go to Florida State. And I just, to this date, I don't know the direction. I don't know what their identity is. I don't know what he's trying to do. And I look at him like I look at Scott Satterfield, like I look at Scott Frost. They're G5 coaches that very simply have shown that they can't level up yet, that they aren't ready for this level.
That he hasn't shown it yet, that's for sure. But there, I would say there are a lot of extenuating circumstances over COVID, and not only just the football program, but the athletic department in general has been a disaster for 4 or 5 years. They're still in the process of cleaning that up. Their NIL situation all over Florida is not as good as where it is elsewhere. They're still working on that. So I think the whole program is a work in progress, and I think it's unfair to nail Norvell, but I think the specific points that you bring up are absolutely pertinent, and I think you're spot on. And if he doesn't deliver this year at least 7 wins, I think you really have to start questioning if he really does have it. I mean, he works his ass off, he does all that, but that's so what? Get results. You have everything. Yeah. You have one of the best brands in college football still, I believe. You have your facilities are almost as good as anybody else's. They're in the process of getting that football only. So, there are no excuses anymore. I think in the past couple of years you've had them, but I think this year moving forward, there's no excuses. You got to have a winning season. You got to get to 7 or 8, and you got to keep building on that. And anything less than that is not going to be good enough.
I'm sorry. I don't understand banking I was critical of Willie for the way he handled the quarterback situation. I would have never put any stock in Francois, and definitely wouldn't have put any stock in James Blackman.
Yeah.
I don't understand sacrificing your first 3 years with Jordan Travis without really bringing in competition.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, again, you have to earn the right to be secure. Just being the best of a bad group of quarterbacks doesn't make you secure. Just makes you the best of a bad group of quarterbacks.
Right.
Get better quarterbacks.
No question about it. All right. So in the end, you don't think this was the end? I mean, NIL is what it is. So you don't think we're going to have a rash of guys?
It is what it is. I mean, there's going to be situations. You're going to have the Quinn Ewers situation where he wanted to get paid as a high school student. Texas said no. He reclassified, went to Ohio State, got his money, then went back to Texas. That one doesn't get as much attention because C.J. Stroud was so good at Ohio State.
Exactly.
That Quinn Ewers wasn't getting in there.
Right.
So fine, go back to Texas. Yeah, but there's players that are absolutely gonna go out there and get their money, and it's ain't gonna be pretty. And I get it. There's no real rules or anything, but remember, the NCAA had 40 years to figure out a way to do this. They decided to go to the courts. The courts told them what they did was wrong, and basically that their hands are tied. They can't do anything now.
No, I know. Listen, I've been talking about it for 2 decades. Go make incremental changes, pay the players, do the right thing, and they never wanted to do the right thing. They were too greedy. They wanted to keep all the money for themselves, and this is what they get. So I agree with you. They got what
do we say? What do we say? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it. But it's not good for college football. That's the problem.
It's not good for college football, but that's not the players' fault.
Exactly, 100%. I would agree with you there. All right, my friend, tell everybody how they can get your phenomenal content.
Oh, well, phenomenal, man!
Yeah,
you're really
it is.
you're really overselling me today. My goodness.
No,
Then
never.
go to Twitter at Corey Long, CreyLong. I'm occasionally on there. NHL.com is where you'll find my hockey stuff. WalterFootball.com. Shout out to my Tampa Bay brother, Charlie Campbell. That's where you can find good mock drafts there. My mock draft sucks, but you can find Charlie's mock draft and Walter's, and theirs are really good.
Yeah, all right.
So you can find their stuff.
See that? At least you're honest. All right. Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it. All right. We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back on the other side. And Jason Licht spoke to the media yesterday. We will decipher all of it for you. We'll play some of the clips, and then we will translate what it really means. That's the important stuff. So it's the draft press conference. So fascinating every time. Back in 3. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the JP Peterson Show. We thank you so much for checking us out. We ask that you retweet our shows when you can, retweet our postings, and get the word out. We feel like our content is as good as any here. We do it 2 hours a day, Tampa Bay Centric Sports Radio. If you're not listening to us, then I don't think you're getting the full. I don't think you're getting the full tilt as far as local sports talk goes. So check it out and please retweet. And we really appreciate you guys listening to us. Don't forget to subscribe to our Apple, Spotify podcast, subscribe to our YouTube page. You can always download our app, FanStream Sports, and FanStreamSports.com is our website. You can check out all the great content there as well. And big thanks to Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Christopher Lugo and his team over there. If you're looking for a new primary care, that is the place to go. He works with our pilots, our top pilots in the military, and he can put that cutting-edge knowledge to work for you in testosterone replacement therapy, diet, workout, everything. It is a new way of looking at your health, a personalized approach. They'll spend a lot of time with you, and give you all the latest and greatest knowledge. Just not some old-time doctor that's trying to rush you through in this 15-minute slot. They'll spend 45 minutes, an hour with you, and make sure that you are on the road to total health, as they like to call it over there. It's a total approach, BAMMC.com. All right, let's get into the NFL a little bit. Jason Licht spoke with the media yesterday in the pre-draft press conference that is more about misdirection than anything else. But I think there were a couple of nuggets that we could take out of this. Of course, I think the biggest one was probably the question about Tom Brady and the Dolphins. Only he didn't give much of an answer on that. It was basically just to say, yeah, we haven't really talked about that at all. And which is interesting, because if your girlfriend is out there and, publicly, it's out there in the media that she's dating someone else, or she's flirting with someone else, like a Will Smith situation. Somebody's going to get, you would expect something to happen. Like somebody's going to get slapped down. Like there's got to be some type of reaction. But I guess when it's Tom Brady, I mean, what's that conversation like? Like when Brady was here for the press conference, did somebody say, hey, what's going on with the Dolphins? Are they asking you to be part owner? Like, do you ask Brady that? Or is it just, you don't even mention it? It doesn't even come up. And all I do is I look at what's happened. Brady has not signed a new contract. And Jason Licht said yesterday there has been no talk of a new contract. Now, obviously, they would like to rework his contract and extend it to give you more cap relief, to be able to get Gronk in, Sue in. I mean, there are some other contracts they can do that with to create the room. It's not absolutely necessary to do it with Brady. But the fact is that he has not signed a new deal, that he was not made available to reporters when he was in the building, that he spoke the other day on a podcast, I believe, and did not address that situation at all. So if they're not giving him a new contract, what that tells me is that Brady is basically saying, I want to be able to self-determine next year where I'm going. I don't want to be tied to any team next year. So we'll just leave this contract in place and we'll deal with next year, which would lend maybe some credence to the whole Miami thing, that maybe he wants to go play there next year. Who knows? The only thing that's really important is the fact that he's playing for the Bucs this year and they're building this team this year. I don't want to give too much energy, too much talk to it. But again, especially in this time of year, don't listen to what people say. Listen to watch what they do. And there is no new contract. This will leave Brady the option of doing whatever he wants. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year. And if there was indeed some type of rift, or there was some desire to go play somewhere else, then he'll have that ability. And if he signs a new contract, then you could put all that to bed. So we'll just see what they do and not necessarily listen to anything what people are saying. Sean Payton, by the way, was asked about all the Miami Dolphin rumors and all that, and he said, it's just talk. We know that they asked New Orleans for permission to talk to me, but that was never granted, and it never got any further than there. And, here Skip Bayless just continues to talk about it. Brady to the Dolphins, blah, 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 blah. Brady threw BA under the bus, blah, blah, blah. It's all bullcrap. Was Stephen Ross desirous of this to happen? Hell yeah, he was. Did he tell all the media that he was going to do this and bring in Sean Payton and bring in Tom Brady and, put this band together? I'm sure he did. And I'm sure Florio ran with it and Skip Bayless ran with it. But just because Stephen Ross wants to do it doesn't mean the other guys are interested, and doesn't mean it ever got further than those talks. So, I mean, that's what we have to take at face value. Was Brady available to listen to whatever was going on? I'm sure he was. I'm sure Stephen Ross, who's, the biggest Michigan booster, and they have friendship, I'm sure there was conversations about that, but that's as far as it went. And I don't necessarily think that's something you could trash Brady for. It's just business. And you always want to look at all your options. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. That's how we got to Tampa Bay in the first place. So think about it in that sense. So I don't think we need to put a whole lot more energy to that. It is what it is. Here's we'll start with number 9 here. Here's Jason Licht talking about perhaps a new draft philosophy, or his draft philosophy with Todd Bowles as the head coach now instead of Bruce Arians.
The philosophy hasn't changed. It's just been meeting more with Todd now as the head coach. more one-on-one and more in some group settings too. Bruce has still been involved. He's been in our meetings. I meet with Bruce, periodically, and he's going to be involved here as we put the final touches on our draft too. So our philosophy hasn't changed. We still want to bring in really good players.
So, I mean, none of that is big news, but I would translate that saying, yeah, there's probably a little bit more defensive emphasis with Todd Bowles. I mean, Todd is the head coach now. He's got a little bit of a different slant than Bruce Arians. So I would expect there to be, because obviously this offense is great. The offense is great. The way it's positioned right now with Brady and the weapons that they have, the offensive line, they would have to do something drastic. We've got a lot of bad injuries to not be a top 5 offense. So any good organization would now turn to the defense in terms of getting impact players for this year. I think you're going to get the most impact on defense. So is that going to be someone like Lewis Seen, the Georgia safety, very versatile player? Is it going to be a defensive tackle, another end rush guy? I think that's a possibility. Any of those could be a corner. Could be a corner to step in if one falls to them at 27. I would think that Jason Licht has a history of moving up and moving back. I would guess that since I don't think they have a 4th round pick, they might want to pick up some more picks and maybe trade down from 27 and get another 2nd round pick, and then you've got two bites at the apple, so to speak. So I think that's a definite possibility for this draft. He was asked about drafting and if the signings of Sue or the non-signings of Sue and Gronk will have any effect on the draft.
Well, it's always fluid adding players to our roster. It doesn't have to be during free agency. Right now we're focused on the draft. There's a lot of time between after the draft and when the season starts. So it's always fluid and, leave the door open on a lot of cases, whether they're, ex-Bucks or have been with us or, players that are on the street. So we'll just always keep, doors open, and we'll always keep constant communication about that.
Yeah, and I think, again, whether those guys come back or not, I think your draft philosophy stays the same. I think they have to draft. I think they'll draft a defensive tackle and a tight end. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think the values there are probably more in the middle rounds than there are at the top. So again, that might suggest drafting going a little lower. I would be shocked if they went receiver early on, wide receiver. I know Jahan Dotson from Penn State is the guy that's getting a lot of chatter. I just, at this particular point with Brady here, one more year for sure. You don't know after that. With all that you have wrapped up in the receiver position right now with Gage and Godwin and Evans, I just don't see. I don't see him going after receiver right now. Next year, yes. I don't see it happening this year. All right, another one from Mr. Light. Let's go with evaluating defensive tackle on the roster.
Well, we obviously think very highly of Vita, Will. We think Nacho's a very good player. Excuse me. And we've got some good young guys that we've had in here that we feel pretty good about, have a chance to ascend and get better. So, yeah, you always want to upgrade your trenches. It's a position that we'll continue to look for, but we've had the draft. We have a period after the draft. There's still trade deadlines, not for months and months away. So there's different avenues and different paths that we can take to upgrade there and upgrade our depth and get more players in there.
Yeah, I could see them adding some, especially with Todd Bowles as now the head coach. I can see them going defensive tackle first, second, third, either one of those picks. I would expect in the first 3 rounds that they'll get a defensive tackle. I'd be shocked if they did not. The impact of Marpet retiring on the draft as far as the offensive line goes, and many of the draft experts have them targeting Zion Johnson, the big offensive guard. Let's hear from Light on that.
First of all, very happy for Allie. Had an unbelievable career, and we all have the utmost respect for him, and I'm glad that he staying in the community here, and he's always going to be welcome here. Initially, I don't want to say shocked, but, initially a little surprised. But now knowing Allie and the conversations we've had, and certainly understand and respect his decision. And it did a little bit. That's why we went and traded for Shaq Mason. And we feel really good about Aaron Stinney having that playoff experience that he had when we won the Super Bowl, and Nick Leverett and Robert Hainsey. And, we've got some good players that we thought had been doing some good things early on in their career there, that there's going to be a lot of competition. But it did initially, and I think the first step was trading for Shaq.
Yeah, and by trading for Shaq, they eliminated that obvious need at offensive guard. So I still think it's a need down the road, and I still think it's incredibly important to have guys up front that can anchor and not get pushed back into the quarterback. Because with Brady, we know that's his Achilles heel. He cannot, his kryptonite. If he can't step into the throw, he's not the same quarterback.
So that's your desire. You would rather do the offensive guard in the first round above anything else, then?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think defensively, I think the most immediate need is corner, defensive back, versatile player. I just think they need, good tackling. Lewis Cine kind of, answers that question as well. I just think they need more players, and especially if one corner goes down, they're in trouble. The offense is going to be fine. I don't think they need to necessarily have someone. But listen, if Zion falls to you at 27, and I think he's a top 15 talent, it gives you the versatility to be able to make that pick, because I think he's a guy that you can plug in for 10, 12 years like an Ali Marpet and be very, very successful. Those guys are very, very hard to find.
Yeah, I think of the three, which I said this to Scott yesterday, the three players that we feel like we all have our eyes on here is Zion, Devontae Wyatt, and Lewis Cine. It feels like those are the consensus three.
Yeah.
And of those three, I think Zion is the most sure thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would agree
Scott
with that.
said yesterday, if you're doing Devontae Wyatt, filling a need, yes. But you're drafting on potential, because he brought up the lack of sacks that he had at Georgia and the lack of production there, which is a valid point. And then with Lewis Cine, I still think he is my best pick because of the tackling machine that he is. And we raised the point yesterday with Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting in contract years, Logan Ryan playing the slot, and Keanu Neal being that specialty hybrid guy.
Yeah.
There is still a need, in my opinion, next to Antoine Winfield. So I think maybe Zion or Lewis Cine, I think, are 1 and 2, 1A, 1B right now.
I would agree with that. And don't forget, I think this is where the Bowls effect will come into play, because I think it's going to be a tough call. When they're on the clock,
want the safety.
Absolutely. And when on the clock, and I don't know, how's this shaping up? I don't think we've ever gotten a real good feel for like who makes the final call. I guess it's Jason Licht's final call. But I think there's going to be, typically there's going to be a lot of, guys are going to stand on the table for the guys they want, the position players. And it's going to come down to, I think Todd Bowles is going to have a lot to say about this. And, he's a defensive guy, and he knows, young, fast, physical guys that can hit, make tackles, and make big plays. They're hard to pass on. That's a toy that a defensive player is going to say, the defense coach is going to say, I like that shiny one. Give me that one.
And you got to think too, I think Jason said yesterday that Bruce, as he promised, is heavily involved in the draft process as well. He's in that room. Offensive guy. How much does he play into a part in this? And he did say yesterday, they've had all these plans already pretty good to go. If something happens, where are we going to go and all this? But you never know until you're on the clock, right? And
that's right.
What happens? What is the scenario if those three names are off the board? That's one thing we have to prepare ourselves for.
And they'll run all these scenarios. They'll have it all thought out, and they'll run all these mock drafts. And if the board looks like this, where do we go? And there'll be discussions, but those discussions will have taken place, weeks and weeks ahead of time, and I'll make their call. But it's going to be a little different, no doubt about it, when you have a new head coach. Jason was asked about the re-signing of running backs, Lenny and touchdown Lenny, playoff Lenny, and Gio, who didn't do much last year but was injured, showed some flashes, and they brought it back, I think, because of that. Here's that answer.
Well, obviously it was getting Leonard back was great. Anytime you can have a 3-down back on your roster, those is challenges for a defense. We felt like Keyshawn took some big steps last year, and we gained a lot of confidence with him. And then with Gio, good change of pace back, good hands, got some value in the return game as well. But no, it would not stop us from taking it back.
course, he's going to put that out there, and I think they are looking at taking a running back. I would be shocked if it happened before the third, even before the fourth round. If they gain a fourth round pick,
they have the fourth round pick. It's the fifth and sixth. They don't have
the fifth and sixth. Okay, so if they, if they fall back and are able to pick up a couple more picks in the fifth and sixth, that's typically where they drafted running backs. I know Sneak was a third round pick, right?
Yeah, a very overdrafted third round pick.
You see, they like him. I still think he has value.
You don't like him.
So if someone they really, really like were to fall, and this is, running back's a very interesting situation. Let's be honest, Light has not been very good at drafting running backs. Let's just put it out there. Rojo was, I don't want to say he was a bust, but just mentally, I just don't think he ever acclimated to Tampa Bay and what was going on here. I don't know if he's emotionally mature enough, frankly, to be a great pro. He's got all the tools in the world, but it just seems from an attitude standpoint, he just never could focus it in. I still think Sneak Vaughn's got a chance to be a good player. The resume is not good.
I think they're taking one.
As far as
they had the top 30 visits, and I think they had a few in there.
Yeah.
Isaiah Spiller, they are really, really high on. I'm very high on Damian Pierce, as
they
are
too.
as well.
And I don't think he's going in the top 4 rounds. Do you?
I think he's a third, fourth round guy.
Yeah.
But I think this running back class is sneaky good. It's
sneaky.
Nobody's talking about it. I think it's sneaky good.
Right.
And
it's just because of the de-emphasis of the running back in the NFL today. I think, 10 years ago, I think you'd see a lot of these guys going very high in the draft, but it's just a different game now.
Yeah. And Damian Pierce, I listened to Scott and John. They were talking about the running back class, and he described him as a better version of Peyton Barber, which he said that might scare Bucs fans, but he said better. And that means he's a bruiser.
Yeah.
Very good pass blocker. I think that's what the Bucs are missing right now in that running back room, to be honest. I think they need a bruiser.
Well, I mean, Fournette's a bruiser. I mean, he's a big guy, dude.
When he wants
runs
to get
hard.
Going,
he runs hard.
Again, you know how I feel about Leonard Fournette. I don't think he's the greatest runner in the world. His hands took a huge leap this year that made it through 3 comeback.
And the numbers say differently. And he's extremely productive. He's been really, really good. And
I would like to have more back there.
Well, for what we're paying him, which is not a whole hell of a lot. It's not. What do we get him? $7 million a year
for a running back, and that's pretty good.
Well, but it's not. It's not like what Deebo Samuel's looking for. And I wanted to talk about that just for a second. I mean, you've got Deebo Samuel now demanding the Tyreek Hill money.
It's 3 of them. It's McLaurin and AJ Brown too.
Yeah.
They're all not going to camp.
Look at the Bucs. Look at our receiving core.
Oh, they're laughing to the bank right now.
And you know
it's
what?
Crazy.
And Cooper Kupp came out and said, I know I'm up at 23, but I'm not breaking the bank. I'm not doing it. I'm not out there to I mean, he's looking at and I hate to say this about these other players that it's not team first because, players need to get what they can get. But you cannot deny the fact that the Bucs sit here with 2 superstar receivers as good as any of these guys that are asking for $30 million. And neither one of these guys are out there bitching. I mean, Godwin just got paid. I get it. But he didn't get paid $30 million a year. They paid $29 million a year.
He go out publicly or do anything dumb like that.
He did not. Nor did Mike Evans. As good as any of those guys.
Exactly.
Mike Evans could be doing the same thing. I'm not coming to camp. I'm not coming to camp. But he's making what, 17?
Yeah, he's a steal.
Yeah.
He's a steal.
But again, I don't want to rip the other guys. I would just say I'm glad we got our guys. I'm glad we got our guys that really, they walk the walk. They put team first. And again, this is not disparaging the other guys. I'm just glad we got our guys who are doing it this way. And that's a huge deal.
Yep.
It's a huge deal. And I think Brady's a big part of that. If in these other situations, Tyreek Hill's like, everybody else got paid. Why not me? Same way with Devontae Adams. Well, Aaron's going to get paid. What about me? Somebody's going to pay me. I get it. But your team's going to have a much more difficult time having team success. But simple as that.
And they're getting, like I said it yesterday on the show, the emphasis on the wide receiver position, or guys are getting, it's like the minimum, the standard. If you're a good receiver, it's $20 million now. Yeah. That's like the minimum. But it might be the second most important position all of a sudden in the league. You can't win without them.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. I thought I was having TJ at 11:30, but it was 11:15. My bad, TJ. TJ Rives coming up next if he's still available as we went a little long in that segment, but we'll grab him next. Quick break. Stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call.
Dream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. In our second hour, Christopher Lugo and his medical team will get you right. Go to BAMMC.com. If you're looking to lose weight, get in better health, testosterone therapy, BAMMC.com. All right, let's chat with our good friend TJ Rives, Bucks sideline guy, joins us now. What's up, TJ? How you doing, partner?
Hey, it's always good to be with you on all circumstances. I appreciate you reaching out, but now I'm profoundly jealous. I have to say this on a Wednesday. You have done something that I have not done on the bucket list. You have gone to a game, and with your son, no less, at Wrigley Field, and I thoroughly enjoyed all of your video coverage, and I caught the show where you were talking about it and what a great it was, even though you were freezing to death. I have to bow to you here on a Wednesday, getting to go do that.
It was
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was, and I got to give a lot of credit to my son because he kind of like, Dad, you got to get up here for the Rays game. We got to do this. We got to do this. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. It's a bucket list item, and it might be a little cold, but whatever. And then that whole thing, I mean, it's snowing at the game. I mean, that's a historical moment. I mean, I'm Wrigley Field. It's snowing. I'm watching my Rays. I'm with my son. We're drinking cold beers, and they stay cold for 3 innings. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. It was it could be a little better. A sunshiny day in August might be a little better, but
with the shirt off out with the Cub fans out in the bleacher bums out in the outfield. It could be. And I have actually talked to people. I would love to maybe experience this that have been up on those rooftops that they now charge a bunch of money to watch the game from the rooftop. I would kind of like to do that one time. It's not in the stadium, but it would be cool to see.
Interestingly enough, my son was looking for apartments in Wrigleyville, and he went over there and looked at one of the apartments in one of those buildings. And that if that includes, you get open access to the roof anytime with your rent there, so you get season tickets to the Cubs as well. It's a little bit more.
The problem is the rent is the same price as a new automobile.
Exactly.
Which in these day and times is an expensive one.
Surprisingly not bad in Wrigleyville. Okay. Cheaper to live in Wrigleyville than it is downtown Tampa as far as renting. Truth. That is true. Trust me, I know. It is, but it was great, and I hope you enjoyed my stupid videos because. I thought we live vicariously through these things. I do that sometimes when I'm at an event or whatever, and people enjoy getting to do that. Yeah. I was thinking when you hit me up about this, you probably went on more than one occasion to Lambeau, right? With the Buccaneers. Yes, been there.
Okay, so that's a bucket list for a lot of people to go and see that place. And yes, they've modernized it, and they've increased the seating capacity and rebuilt parts of the stadium, but that is still the place where Lombardi's Packers would play in the 1960s and win all the championships. It's the same facility. It's the same building. I did get to go to a game in the old Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
I did get to go and see the Celtics with Larry Bird, hello, in the old Boston Garden.
Yeah, you told me
But
that story. That was a great story.
I've not been to Wrigley Field.
Yeah, that
So
was
there you
my
go.
second time. I went in the summer for a Cardinals Cubs game where it was just
Oh,
absolutely
wow.
packed. Yeah, that was a great. It's a great rivalry, and the Cubs won in extra innings and on a walk-off bases loaded walk. So that was that was a great experience. But with my son, that was top notch.
Yes.
Yeah, and and it just reminds you of what a real baseball field is like. The green grass, even though it was cold, outside, just the history of the game. And they've modernized Wrigley Field. I mean, underneath where all the boxes are and the concession areas, everything is just beautiful. Everything is the seats all been redone. I mean, it is just gorgeous. It's not like an old Wrigley Stadium anymore. So it's the best of what we can have here in Tampa Bay. I mean, this is what an iconic field, updated, beautiful modernization with big areas to get your concessions and everything. We could have all of that in Ybor City if it was not for our very greedy owner. But even with him, I think we're on the precipice of having that announcement probably this year. Well, definitely, I think it's going to happen this year. So
I like your optimism. Let's hope it gets done. I was
Yeah.
thinking this too. You were saying that they did the same thing to Dodger Stadium. They
Yes.
completely.
Yeah.
And I've been by it, but I've never been in. Have you been in that one?
That was my
I've never been in it.
Interestingly enough, my first baseball game was a father-son experience with my dad, who took me to Dodger Stadium when I was in high school. Yeah, my dad, myself, my brother, we sat up in the upper deck for a Reds.
You had never been to a baseball game,
Nope.
and the first one was Dodger Stadium.
And-
That's
and-
awesome.
And I was in high school because I grew up in South Florida. We went to some spring training games, but never a major league park. My first major league park was Dodger Stadium. Reds and Dodgers in the old NL West.
What time frame? Are we talking like late 80s?
Yeah, early. So that would be 1978. So just post Big Red
Oh my
Machine.
God, the Steve Garvey.
Yes.
Dusty Baker as an outfielder. Everybody just knows him as the manager. He was a heck of a player.
Heck of a
Dusty
player,
Baker
yeah.
in the outfield. Fernando Valenzuela came right after that as
Yep.
the phenom.
Yep.
But
in
like
1980,
Ron Say, the Penguin at third base. Now,
Yep.
this like Nick has no idea what we're talking about. We have lost all the
Oh.
millennials and all the sub 40-year-olds. But that is some iconic Dodger time because they were always battling the Yankees for the World Series in the late.
Not mistaken, Bench was still playing. I don't really know if Rose had moved to the Phillies yet. But they, there were still remnants. of the
Rose
big-
went to the Phillies, I think, in '79.
Yeah, so I think Rose was still on that team.
How about this? I was at the vet on a family vacation, Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the night before Pete Rose broke the National League record for hits. And it was electric in that whole city because he's playing for the Philadelphia Phillies now. And Rose later played for the Montreal Expos too, by the way. But Rose, the night before we were there, had gotten a couple of hits. The night we were there, he got a hit, but he was still like tied with Stan Musial for the National League record. And the next night after we left, he broke the National League record, and then it still took like 4 more years for him to break Ty Cobb's record, which he did in Cincinnati. But we talk about childhood memories with our dad. My dad took me to Veterans Stadium. We took our lives into our hands and went to Veterans Stadium and saw, I want to say, like the Phillies and the Cardinals. We're playing with Pete Rose playing third base for the Philadelphia Phillies. So this is what we love, and I'm thrilled for you that you got to do it with your son.
Yeah,
Wrigley
so
and
that-
get to see the race.
So Dodger Stadium and then Wrigley Field for my father-son experiences. Yeah, pretty damn cool, no doubt. All right, so now
That
that
is
we've lost
cool.
all of our listeners and viewers under the age of 40, let's hit the Bucs a little bit as the draft comes up, my friend. We were just talking about, with Todd Bowles now in charge, will there be a little lean into the defensive side? And I think if they stick at 27, he's going to be looking for kind of an impact player this year, the guy that can come in and make plays and do something for this team. And I think Lewis Seen is that guy. I think it's a defensive back, a hybrid safety type guy that I think could make the most immediate impact. And I think that's what Todd Bowles will want. What are your thoughts?
I think you're on the right track. You need defensive help. You need secondary help. You cannot have enough defensive backs. You cannot have enough depth at defensive back. So I think that's the way that you're looking. And, there's a lot of talk would they look defensive line. Now, they went with JTS, Joe Tryon Shoyinka, last year at the very end of the draft. picking 32nd. You're in that neighborhood again. Would it be a defensive tackle because Ndamukong Suh is not the long-term future? William Golston's on a one-year deal. Who you pairing up with Vita Vea? You're probably on the right track that they're looking something like. And there's a lot of talk too. Would they take a linebacker, and what kind of linebacker would be left with my man Levante David, who I love, who's absolutely going to be in the Ring of Honor. And so thrilled for him that he waited out awful season after fired head coach after awful season after fired head coach and finally got a Super Bowl. But Levante is also, in the final year of his deal. And is he a long-term guy that's still going to be here? I hope so. But they got to look at that too. And who do they pair up in the middle of the defense? So it would not surprise me if the Bucs are looking strongly at defense. Maybe, dare I say, on the JP FanStream show, maybe look defense with the first couple of picks.
Yeah.
As blasphemous as that might seem in the 2022 NFL.
I just think that as long as Brady is here, and, my sense is, he's going to play at least, he's going to play here for us. There's no new contract, so that tells me that he may be looking elsewhere, but I don't care. It's about this year while you have Brady. And if it's about this year and you've got an offense that is going to be spectacular, it's going to be a top 3 offense, then you got to help the defense. And there's going to be really, really good players available at that, because I think it's deep in defensive back. I think it's deep. I think there's some good linebackers that are kind of, slated for the second and third rounds, very, very productive players. And, maybe some defensive linemen and some edge guys as well that you can pick up. You can have enough edge rush. So, I would not be shocked at all if they go defensive heavy, at least for the first 2-3 picks. So we shall see. Well, by the way, what are the events going on for fans? Are the Bucs doing a draft party? You're always
so they are ramping it up. Correct. It is back for the first time in 3 years.
Nice.
Where they're going to welcome back inside, because a year ago, remember, we were still dealing with some people are getting the vaccine. What are we doing? So the event was basically outside in the stadium, in the bowl of the stadium, where people could walk around, hear the draft going on. We were doing the draft coverage on Buccaneers radio on 98 Rock. But now they're going to go back to, in the club sections for the season pass holders, the suite holders, etc. There will be special parties again, just like what we had all the way up through 2019 before all this craziness began. So yes, if you're a season pass holder, you can get inside. And I believe it's still the case that even if you are not a season pass holder, even if you just want to come, they're not charging for that, and you can be there for free and come hang out around the bowl of the stadium. The inside of the stadium, there's some fun and games for the kids. Nice. Again, it's a long night more than likely, because the Buccaneers are not slated to pick till 27. That's not going to be before 10 p.m. Eastern time, and arguably not before 10:30 or later Eastern time. So it is a longer evening if you've got little kids. But yeah, they are doing different things. They are back doing that, and they can find out more on the Buccaneers app and Buccaneers.com, because I believe it is free to come back in, even if you're not a season pass or club seat person for the event.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Jason Licht is not one to sit still on draft day. He likes moving up. He likes moving back. So it's completely unpredictable. I think moving up might be a little bit of a stretch, but not crazy. If assistant GM Tom Brady says there's a player that he really likes, and you got to move up a little.
The war room camera going. Well, but what are you willing to give up? We've talked about this on your show before.
Right.
Because if you're going to move from 27 to 20, let's say you want to move up 6 or 7, you're going to have to give up a first round pick to do that. Who are you in love with that you cannot live without, that you're willing to give up another first round pick to move up those spots? But again, in Jason Licht, we trust with these deals, by and large, wheeling and dealing, moving up, moving down, staying where you are. Didn't they move up the one spot for Tristan Wirfs?
I think they did. Yeah,
he moved up one spot to make sure they would get him,
and it cost them
because they were uncertain if the team, whoever it was, JP, was about to pick him.
Yeah.
I think it turned out to be the right move to give up a pick and move up one spot to make sure you got Tristan Wirfs.
And that's the thing, if there's a player that you're really in love with, and he's 2 or 3 spots away, and you had to give up a 4th or a 3rd, I'm not giving up a 1st or a 2nd, but if you give up, I think you do it, especially in this time, or if you think he's that important, can impact your team this year with Brady. Absolutely, I think you do it, no question about it. All right, your thoughts on We talked about the iconic stadiums. Are there any other stadiums that you haven't been to that you want to go to? Because you've been to all of them.
Fenway is a no. Would love to be at Fenway. Been by it, never been in it.
Been there twice.
So that would be a cool one to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been in that one, Mr. Dodger Stadium, Mr. Wrigley Field? Have you been in Fenway?
Absolutely.
Ray the Ray stuff?
Yeah. You never heard my Fenway story? The Fenway story is a classic.
You didn't get arrested, did you? Did I miss this?
No, but the guys next to me did. Or at least one of them. Yeah. It was
now, wait a minute. Did you instigate? Did you participate? What? I mean,
I encouraged. Yes.
You encouraged.
But
you egged on, if you will.
These Southeast did not need a whole lot of encouragement. I can just tell you that they were hell bent on doing whatever they were going to do. That saying, that was that. Because every time the Boston player got a hit, this one guy they were picking on, or who was designated, had to take off a piece of clothing, and it wasn't, he wasn't taking it off; it was getting ripped off him.
Oh dear God!
So by the eighth inning, they're all hammered, and I was with my fiance, my wife to be at the time. It was her first Major League Baseball game ever.
Oh, great!
She was horrified by the whole thing, and so these guys are just hammered. So eighth inning comes, whoosh, he's down, he's buck ass naked. We're sitting in the right field bleachers.
How is security, by the way, letting this go on? Just a thought.
There was a Yankees Red Sox game. They're just going to break up fights. These guys were just, abusing one of their own.
Security quit in the sixth inning, trying to break everything up.
Low on the totem pole, right? Some guy got almost thrown off over the upper deck. I think you're right about that. So then this guy goes running down, the low right field fence, infamously, as we witnessed last year's playoff. Balls can get kicked over there. This guy runs down the ramp, the stairs. Almost hurdles that small little thing. He's buck ass naked, but he's running for second base from right field, and he's in a full gallop now, and it's swinging everywhere, and the place is going nuts. And so he hits second base, and he's headed for third, and he's not stopping. And the security is like tacitly going after him.
How many are chasing him? 2, 3?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 at this point as he approaches third base. And not only he's not, you think he's going to score. No, as he goes to third base, he does a full out Superman Pete Rose while naked head first slide into third base.
Oh my gosh.
To which the entire crowd went, oh, the audible groan
for obvious
of somebody
reasons. Yes.
Jumping on his own junk and sliding into third base. So yeah, that was my Fenway Park experience.
Classic.
What it was.
Classic. You have trumped me with story after story here on all these major league parks. So yeah, Fenway, no for me. I've not been there. I was at Candlestick with the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Obviously, Montana and Rice and company made that place legendary, but it was a dump. They had to get rid of it. I think you went a couple times and were there and around Candlestick, and
had a mini earthquake, a small earthquake during my live show. Outside Candlestick one day. I'm like,
wait a minute, did I have too much to drink, or was that an earthquake? Wait, it was an earthquake. Yeah,
it was an earthquake. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, all those stadiums, they're venerable and they're wonderful. The Orange Bowl as well, but well past their time. But anyway, anything else going on in your world that we need to know about?
We got one other thing. We got some fights. We got boxing. Right. We got heavyweight title boxing coming Saturday with Tyson Fury, the WBC heavyweight champion from England, defending the title back in England in the afternoon. Yes, time at the press conference a while ago, with it being late afternoon in England, late morning for us. And so they will fight this thing. It's his first title defense in England. He fought, obviously, the Alabama guy, Deontay Wilder, a couple of times here, beat him both times. And so this is a big deal, especially there. They're going to have 94,000. Speaking of Wembley Stadium being, a venerable stadium that they've now redone, which they have. I mean, that place has been legendary in the UK and in Europe now for 70 or 80 years. They redid it right before the Buccaneers played, who else? Brady and the Patriots in 2009. Like the year before we got there for that international game, they had redone it. They're going to have 94,000 people. Hello is the expected crowd Saturday afternoon. Quite an event. You mentioned your crowd, Fenway being a boisterous, crazy, drunk crowd. That's going to be some atmosphere. He's fighting a fellow Brit, Dillian White, who's a hard-punching heavyweight contender, not well known outside of the UK. So that's the heavyweight title fight that's coming. And I may mention to you, too, we are a week away from Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fighting for the undisputed ladies lightweight championship. And why is that significant on the FanStream JP show? Because you covered Amanda Serrano last night, which was here in Tampa on the undercard of the Jake Paul pay-per-view at Amalie Arena in December. And this is now arguably the richest financially fight in ladies boxing history, and they're fighting at the Madison Square Garden. Speaking of venerable arenas, that is next Saturday, the 30th. How about that? Some boxing.
I would definitely want to watch that for sure. And Fury's this weekend.
Fury this weekend on Saturday at Wembley Stadium, Saturday afternoon on pay-per-view. Here it's a little steep. It's on ESPN Plus, and it's like a $70 pay-per-view. So I understand there are a lot of people that roll their eyes. They're not hardcore boxing fans. The Serrano Katie Taylor battle, Saturday night primetime, the 30th, a week from Saturday, is on DAZN. The DAZN streaming service is much more affordable on a monthly plan. You pay like $19.99, and you get everything for them. Not just by events. She's fighting on that, and again, it's going to be an exciting. She can fight, and Katie Taylor can fight, so that will not be dull. And those two are arguably the premier ladies boxers in all of the world fighting each other. So that's a big deal. And there you go. There's a little boxing. You can read me more on BigFightWeekend.com, a website that I own and I'm involved with. And the Big Fight Weekend podcast will be doing the Tyson Fury fight if you want more on that and the other boxing that's coming. And we got Canelo Alvarez fighting in Las Vegas the week after that. So boxing season is here. Along with the NFL draft and the Rays and the Lightning Stanley Cup, we got some fights too, JP.
I love it. And TJ will keep you up to date on all that stuff. So check out that content. All right, great to hear from you, my friend. Thank you very much. We'll chat next week.
Yes, let's talk some more draft next week. It will be here a week from tomorrow, believe it or not. The 3-night event begins a week from tomorrow. So we'll be ready for all of that, my friend. Be well.
All right, partner. Appreciate it. The great TJ Rives right there. Lonnie Wilkins tweeted at us, or actually commented on our YouTube stream. You can always watch us on YouTube, by the way. Go to youtube.com. Just Google the JP Peterson Show. You'll see it. Said, hey, guys, big fan of the show. After doing Wrigley and seeing the whole Wrigleyville experience, the Rays can do the same thing in Caps in Ybor. Come on, Stu. People come. Yeah, when you're in Wrigleyville and you walk, we went to like 3 or 4 bars. There's one Sluggers where I went upstairs and put on a hitting display in the batting cage, by the way. It's just so awesome. You pop from one bar to the next, and then you go into the game. And, it's what baseball's all about. It's an urban game. You already have Ybor City and all those bars built in right there, which would be walkable distance. Plus, with the design that I've seen that they've kind of put out there, that they do what's they've done in the Battery in Atlanta, do what they've done in San Diego. And there's going to be residential around the park. There's going to be all types of different restaurants and businesses all around the park. And that's the plan. It's a no-brainer. We could have that. It could be iconic for years and years and years. Imagine, 60 years from now, the Rays are still playing baseball in Ybor City, and we've got that great area all around it. It's all there for the taking. It's obviously going to be a huge home run here locally, but we're all just waiting on one guy. One guy. That's it. One guy.
Yeah.
Come on, Stu. Step up.
Hey, by the way, I wanted to get this in here before this show ends. It's baseball related, not Rays related.
Okay.
But it's baseball related. Did you see the New York Yankees last night?
I saw Garrett Cole.
Mr. Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Was not ejected.
Pulled
from the game
inning.
in the second inning.
Yeah.
Which, again, we're laughing to the bank there because what are they paying him? $35 million?
35, I think, yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm laughing at?
What's that?
Remember last year when the Yankees got Joey Gallo at the trade deadline? Remember that?
Yeah.
And I went on Twitter and I said Joey Gallo might be the most overrated player, I think, in the history of the game. Because this dude is hitting 190. He's a career 2-5 hitter. And I got people on Twitter telling me that I'm an idiot. I don't know these analytics that say he's a top 20 player. He gets on base, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Do you know what Joey Gallo has done to start the season?
No.
He's 4 for 32 with 14 strikeouts, 0 home runs, and 0 RBIs. So basically, that equates to probably the worst player in baseball to start the season that plays every day.
That's bad.
And
is that worse than Zunino?
That's worse than Zunino. Wow. And then I read here, you got guys who are trying to argue 9 of his 18 balls in play had been hit over 95 miles per hour, and his K percentage is a career low. I don't give a rip. How many of you?
That does suggest he's making good contact.
Cool. Did it land anywhere but a mitt? I don't think so. That's all I care
that
about.
will eventually even out.
Cool. Well, let's see. Based on what in his career? Based on what? I just wanted to put that out for everybody that wants to be Joe Gallo apologist there. Ooh, the analytics tell me he gets some. I don't care.
His exit velocity has been wonderful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Remember the stat that you brought up yesterday about Yandy?
When they get rid of the shift, it's going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Gallo, yeah.
It's going to be great.
But we'll still pay him $20 million in the meantime.
And I love this stat too. 12 games into the Yankees, we think we have it bad. Joey Gallo and Aaron Judge, your nice big 3-4 combo in that lineup. Mr. Aaron Judge, who thought $30 million was not enough, remember?
He's going to regret that.
0 home runs, 1 RBI. Aaron Judge.
God.
They have combined for 0 home runs and 1 RBI. Mr.
12
Gallo and
games?
Judge. Yes.
That's awful.
Just wanted to point that out for all the Yankee fans out there and for all the Yankee people who go to bat for these guys.
I don't know what it is, but there is something to these huge contracts that are doled out to guys. Baseball is such a grind. It's such a grind that I think that when you get paid and it's guaranteed like this, it's hard to find motivation. I really do. I think it's hard to find motivation and focus and intensity, especially early on in the season when things are cold, especially for these hitters. And I don't know if it's the fact that, back in the day, boss was always around the team. And when he came into the clubhouse and you were playing like crap and he would glare at you, there was a renewed focus. I mean, I just don't think that there's a sense of urgency within the organization. I don't. And I think Yankee fans would tell you the same thing. The fact that Brian Cashman is still there.
It's in Aaron Boone.
It's
got a 3-year extension.
You're just rewarding mediocrity.
Yeah,
the boss would never do that. Yeah. Never.
I just
never. Maybe there would be too much turnover but the results are what they are.
Yeah, and we glossed over it. They just played against Baltimore in that series.
Yeah,
and they lost 2 out of 3 against Baltimore and scored 4 runs.
Yeah,
4 runs against the Orioles.
That venerable Yankee left scored 4 runs against.
Why is that relevant? You ask?
In Camden Yard, by the way, bandbox.
Yeah, and that's New York South.
Yeah,
New York South, basically. And why is that relevant? This is why the Yankees can't compete with the Rays in the division year after year, because the Rays last year were 18-1.
Yeah, against the O's. Yeah,
and the Yankees surrendered like 10 games, and now they've already started. They can't beat the Orioles. And I'm just laughing to the bank because I said it before the season started. Remember when they traded for Josh Donaldson?
Yeah.
And you got older and you got slower rather than getting faster and more expensive. I said they're going to spend $250 million.
Again.
The Rays are going to spend $75 million. And I'm going to sit here and we're going to bitch about how the Rays should have spent more money. But I'm still confident that the Rays are going to finish ahead of the Yankees.
Well, but it really has, it doesn't solidify what the Rays are doing and what the Yankees are doing. It just shows to me the Yankees doesn't know what he's doing.
No,
he doesn't know what he's doing, and how he still has a job. I don't know. Good for him, but I'm glad he's still employed there, and I'm glad Boone's still there because they keep rewarding mediocrity, and you don't get any better doing that. There's no sense of urgency whatsoever. Do we need to take another break?
We don't have to if we don't need to.
Okay. Our thanks to our sponsors for that. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance. I will tell you about our good friends over at American Mortgage Services. Scott Fitzgerald, chatted with him the other day. Like we told you, rates have gone up from the 3 to 5 now, I think they're in terms of mortgage rates. And we don't know where they're going to go after this. It's so unpredictable, but still better than 7, 8, 9, 10, 15%, which is where we might be heading. So if you have not refinanced or if you're looking for a new home, and I know the numbers look bad, all I can say is I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm biting the bullet. I'm locking in. They've got some new programs that Scott was telling me about. So reach out to Scott Fitzgerald, American Mortgage Services, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com. He will go to work for you. He will find the lowest rate. And they have a new program that they have just been briefed on. It's a new government program for certain codes We'll give you some more rates and some other advantages. So take advantage of that. So just email him, Scott at AMS Tampa. He'll tell you all about this new program, because I think it's $100 million that the government is investing in this program, and you can get a piece of that if you're buying in certain zip codes that they're trying to put investment dollars into. So take advantage of that particular government program. Scott can tell you all about it. It's Scott at amstampa.com. Just email him, tell him you heard it on the JP show, and he will hook you up. All right, some other news wanted to get to. The NBA last night. Did you see the Heat win? Jimmy Butler went for 45 points, five assists, 5 boards, 0 turnovers. I hadn't had a whole lot of confidence in the Miami Heat.
Really?
But I watched a little bit of last night. They freaking play hard. And if Jimmy Butler's going to have a score, and he's not going to score 45 a night, but I think where they fall down maybe is being consistent on offense. But that's a tough team to play against. I don't think anybody wants to play against the Miami Heat.
I
with
guess
Bam
that must be
Hero
going around, because they
Butler.
feel like disrespected by the
Yeah,
league
they do.
right now.
They should.
I always thought, right next to Milwaukee and Philadelphia, and maybe throw Boston in there. I thought I thought they were right there, just as good as those teams. So I'm not shocked by it.
In Kyrie tonight,
I'm ready for that.
I'm gonna have to peek in on that tonight.
Yeah.
Because he got fined $50,000 for the double birds, but I can see him. I don't know if he's going to do that again, but there's no doubt that he is energized by that Boston crowd.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
That's going to be must watch tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. And also, last night you might have said the Pelicans.
Yeah,
Pelicans got a game back on. Stole one there on the road against Phoenix, who outside of Devin Booker, nobody really decided they wanted to show up.
Well, Booker got hurt too.
He did get hurt.
Pulled a hammy last night. It didn't look severe at all. I don't know how many games he's going to miss, but he might miss a couple.
Yeah.
And these Pelicans, by the way, they're Brandon Ingram and that team. Watching them last night, they're no joke. They played a lot better in the second half of the season than once they got all their guys in there. They're
trading for CJ McCollum was a really good move.
He's hit bucket after big threes last night.
Imagine if they had one big dude there in the middle to clog up the lane and be an athletic freak. Could you imagine if they had one of those guys to plug in?
Like Anthony Davis or Zion?
I think that's the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be really good.
Yeah. Maybe we'd be talking about an upset here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to see the Suns get upset. The big news is the Warriors are back. The Warriors are back. The big three are back. And they have who's the new kid they have?
Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole. Oh my goodness.
Who probably needs to play in the starting lineup at this point.
Yeah.
They might need to put Wiggins on the bench.
Yeah.
Stick him there.
Wiggins is playing as well. I mean, having them both though, this is a team to be reckoned with. And right now, especially with Booker going down, I got to make the Warriors the favorite. From what I saw the other night.
Yeah, I think
Clay's
they're
back
the
playing defense. Draymond's Draymond. Steph's playing as well as we've seen him play. I don't want to go back to the 73 win team, but they look damn good. And I love watching the Warriors play. This Warriors team.
Yeah, he came off the bench the other night from the injury. 23 minutes, he scored 34 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, you could go back and forth. He's either the greatest point guard of all time, or he's the second greatest point guard of all time.
Yeah, and we had this Chris Paul. I don't think Chris Paul is even the top 5. Greeny called him the best point guard of all time if he wins a title this year. I'm like, get out of your mind.
Yeah, it's a little
Magic.
the boundary. He's the third best point guard of all time.
No, Magic's ahead of him. I put John Stockton ahead of him.
Blast.
One of the greatest of all time. Steph, obviously, who's transcended the game. I put him ahead of him. I think I love Chris Paul. I love him, but I don't think he's the greatest point guard of all time.
You said
no
Steve
way.
Nash was better than him.
Steve Nash had a great run.
You think Allen Iverson was better than him?
Ooh. From a pure athletic standpoint, yes.
Of course.
Yeah, no doubt. Iverson was I saw him play about 3 times just personally, and I don't think I've ever seen a quicker player ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Including Spud Webb. And I covered Spud for a couple of years. But Allen Iverson was just a blur. He could go by anybody at any time. And it's hard now because such a positionless game, the NBA now.
Yeah.
We used to have 1 through 5. They were kind of delineated, different players. But now, you got,
if you're a bucket, you just get on the court.
Yeah, I mean,
figure it out.
Kevin
later.
Durant's running the point, for God's sakes. Where do I put him in terms of point guards?
LeBron.
LeBron's
straight point guard.
Yeah.
LeBron might be the greatest point guard of all time.
Yeah, exactly. And so who do you? I mean, they're just ball dominant players, I guess, that you could call point guards now. But I'm definitely interested. We'll be watching tonight, and we got Rays baseball tonight. And tomorrow night, it's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hopefully, Austin Matthews will be playing, and we'll get a great playoff preview. I think it's going to be a playoff preview. I think it's a first-round series with Toronto. So tomorrow night, it's going to be big. All right, our thanks to TJ Rives and Corey Long for joining us today. Great job, Nick Geddes. If you missed anything, download the app, FanStream Sports. You can listen to us anytime. And also Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, YouTube. And also you can watch us on Twitter every single day. Until then, have a great night, everybody. Go Rays.